started in improv is I was really shy, but I was in a place in my life where I was really practicing following my intuition. So I just started getting this intuition, take an acting class. And I followed that intuition, went past my fears and signed up for an improv class at the local art center, and just fell absolutely madly in love with it, and kind of jumped on my friend's bed and said, I want to do this every day for the rest of my life. And that was about 17 years ago. So it worked. A lot of people think improv is stand-up comedy or getting up on stage and being really funny and witty and clever. And a lot of improv is that. The type of improv I teach is much more about learning to be truly in the moment with the people that you're in the scene with. And that's when the funniness or the brilliance or the cleverness truly happens. So that when you get laughs from the audience, they're deeper laughs because it's an organic situation that you can relate to. What's really surprised me is to see how much improv affects people's daily lives. Students come back to me and tell me how it really helped them when they were, stuck in the elevator with their boss and they didn't know what to say. Or, I had this woman who teaches kids in camp, and she was just getting really frazzled and afraid, and she said, I just stopped and I started yes-anding the kids and everything started to flow. Or, couple is taking my workshops and saying, oh, we're using yes and when we go to the grocery store and we're not fighting as much. So there's so many ways that improv affects life. It it really helps with helping you be very in the moment, be a better communicator. It helps businesses and organizations have excellent teamwork. And really the biggest thing, I think, is it brings joy and a sense of play back to people's lives. Yes and is that basic improv tool. It's my scene partner gives me something, and I am enthusiastically going to say yes to that and then add something to it. And then they're going to enthusiastically say yes to my response and build on that. Yes and is what makes improvisers able to work together and create something out of nothing and make it look easy. Okay, so what's going to happen is we'll get 5 people up at a time, and you're going to stand in a line, and you're going to tell a story to the rest of us, one sentence at a time, and you're literally going to have to say yes and after the sentence before you. But instead of just saying yes and rote and not really thinking about it, literally listen to what they're saying and go, yes, like it's the best idea you've ever heard.
You're telling your own story.
We're going to tell a story together as a group, 5 people at a time. So you all have to be like one mind telling the story together. And the way you get into the one mind is by saying yes to the thing that came before you. We're not trying to be brilliant or funny or creative, like we just talked about. We're just trying to make it make sense, which is a wonderful feat when you have 5 minds trying to go, that could potentially go in their own direction. So the goal here is to have a simple story that makes sense together. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, okay. I think that because I've been improvising for so long now, it's really natural for me to kind of yes and life. For myself, it's more about yes-anding my own personal instincts or impulses so that I'm following the flow that life wants to move me in rather than swimming upstream and trying to overlay my mind or my ego's desires onto life. So yes and can really be a spiritual tool as well. I use improv games to warm up new students, and I love games. They're almost as much fun to me as the actual serious tools, which aren't really serious, that we use once we get into class. Games are that thing that, you walk into the room, you've got your day going in your head, you've got your fight with your husband, your kids acting out, whatever it is. The game, whatever that game is, when you're in that circle in the first 15 minutes, is the thing that gets you out of your head, shakes off everything that has happened to you that day so far, and gets you in the moment and playing and having fun with the people that you're in that room with right then. So the game can be anything from passing the energy with a clap around the circle, something simple like that, to shaking out your body at the count of 8 all the way down to 7, just to get your body warmed up. We spend a lot of time from here up in our lives, and improv helps us get all the way down to our toes. So here's what I like to encourage people. You can think about what you're going to do before it gets to be your turn. But when it's your turn, you have to do anything but that thing. So we're really trying to train ourselves to be here now, to let go of overthinking about things and try to get into the moment. And just give yourself a break, let yourself off the hook, and let it be simple. You'll hear me say that a lot today. Let it be simple. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Questions? Yes. Our culture really values academic prowess and quick thinking and having a strong mind, and all of that is wonderful. But a lot of what happens when people begin to take improv and incorporate it into their lives is that becomes secondary, and more of the organic, intuitive, mystical arts come to the forefront, because the mind is not going to be the key to living a joy-filled life. It's just not. It can help you with a lot of things, but it's trusting those deeper instincts and connecting back to the childlike part of yourself that's going to be the key to creating the joy that you're looking for, or that we're looking for. The thing I'm most proud of as an instructor of improv is watching the sparkle come back into people's eyes. I love the idea of group mind, but as a spiritual person, to me it's the same thing as higher mind. Group mind is the idea of getting out of your own individual head and your own individual good ideas and plugging into kind of that bigger mind that floats above all of the minds in that room that day. It's one of those ways that takes you out of your own head, out of your own way, and plugs you into something greater so that creativity or higher energy can flow through. My favorite improv tool is the tool of commitment. Being that I was pretty shy when I first started, I didn't want to commit fully when I was on stage. And I see it with my students all the time. It's much safer to hold back and kind of go halfway and give 50%, or go, 3/4 of the way and give 75%. But the power and the magic is when you just go full out, you're on stage and it's just 100%. It's an amazing experience for the improviser, and it's also an amazing experience for the audience, and everybody through that act of commitment is uplifted. What I want to see in the coming years for myself and my business is I want to be doing more retreats. I lead retreats, and those are some of the most transformative weekends that I do. Those are some of the most transformative classes and workshops because of the depth that people can go to over the course of a weekend, being in a beautiful setting. I want to travel around more and bring the joy of play and improv to anywhere that would want it and need it. I especially want to go to pretty places and do that.